everyone, it's Annette Green here, and I've got 49 and Market Part 2 from my big 49 and Market haul. This is all about Christmas Spectacular, and it's these 4 big 5x7 cards. We're going to do all kinds of different styles here, from gate folds to Z folds to gift card holders and just to your standard 5x7 folding card. So let's get right into it. This is Part 2, and there's many more to come. And just to review what's in the actual cluster kit, I'll just show you very quickly. This is what it looks like. I mentioned this in my unboxing video, how it comes in this great little frosted envelope to store everything in. But you've got all these. First of all, you have 4 suggested clusters. I mean, you could make so many more than that because, as you'll see, there's so much stuff here. Fussy cuts on that sheet, die cuts. I've already popped a few pieces out here. There's 1, 2, this is chipboard, 3, 4 of the regular like laser cuts, which some of them I've popped out here, and then this whole sheet of chipboard, which is, as I found out, already adhesive backed, so that's nice. And then you've got some loose pieces here like this. You've got your elastic in the red, you got buttons and little paper clips and all kinds of goodies. So we're going to start with a Z fold card, something that's not brand new, I'm sure, to a lot of you, but it's one of my favorites because it's impressive, yet it's really super easy to make. And if you've never made one before, here we go. It's super easy. I like to do 5x7. It's a little larger card, but for me, you know, with these already cut out items and things, you need that real estate. You need that room for it. So a little A2 card isn't going to cut it, I don't think, for this particular kit for me. So you are going to cut any card base 10 inches across by 7 inches tall. And then you're going to score at 2.5 inches and at 5 inches. And that's what creates this Z fold. Okay, so it's like a half and a whole. And then you're going to want to cut another strip, and I like to do this measure. This has to be 10 inches as well, but this measure is the one I like, and that's 2.25 inches tall. And then you're going to do just the opposite with your scoring. You're going to score at 5 and then 7.5, which is basically what you've just done on the flip. Okay? Okay, and the idea here is that, as many of you know, you can either put this way down at the base like so and create this kind of action, and it folds nice and flat. I like to go up at least a good inch just because I think it looks kind of cool, but it's really up to you on that. And that is the very basic Z fold card. So now that we know that, then it's easy to cut some embellishment papers, right? So my inside of my card is going to be this beautiful paper, and the papers do have names. This one is called Homespun in this collection because I kept that little zip strip, which I think is cute. And so I cut a piece for the front that we'll see, this inside panel, which you will see when you open the card, and then this larger piece for the base inside. Okay, and so this is just 1/4 inch smaller than what you would expect from your 5x7 card. So this piece of paper needs to be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, and then these two are the same. These are going to be 2 1/4 by the 6 3/4 each. All right, so that's my plan so far for that. And then for this piece, I wanted to do some accents of red with a little bit of that black showing around the edges. So this is going to go here, here, and here, which leaves a nice 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So each one of these pieces, well, this one needs to be 4 3/4 by 2, and then these both are 2 1/4 by 2. Okay, okay, and then super easy, we have to adhere this one to this one in this manner, and so we only want adhesive over here in this 2.5 inch area and over here on this 2.5 inch area. Now this one doesn't have a score line like this one does. Of course, this makes it easy, so I just make a little pencil line there at 2.5 inches so I know not to go past there with my tape. So now we'll just pop these on here. I mean, that couldn't be simpler, right? And there we go. Super fun. And then the fun really begins because now you can start to layer all these goodies on here. So I'm going to take some time to do that. I've selected, I've kind of looked at the packaging. And I like this little cluster here, but I don't really need like a photo mat and an open area. So I'm going to kind of use this loosely. I've picked one of the Christmas tree die cuts. I've got this cute little Santa with his package. And instead of the big viewfinder kind of sticky chipboard piece, I think I want to use one of these little doilies, and get that on there. And I have a couple of other things picked out up here. So I'm just going to play around, get something together, and I'll be back. So just a couple of things you have to keep in mind when you're doing a Z-fold card is this area right here, because you don't want to put a bunch of adhesive behind things and push this down and have it sticking to the inside of your card. So you just have to be kind of strategic where you put like foam tape or adhesive like that. So I've got my card kind of built up here nicely. I've got a little chipboard circle here, some little pennants at the top, and I've made a little cluster with these cut apart pieces. And I've got my Santa with his package. So I'm thinking he's going to come way over here, and it's so nice that he can kind of hang out into this open area, and we just make sure that our foam tape doesn't show on any of those exposed areas, and we'll get that down and then pop on that little cluster and add a few more little buttons and doodads to finish off this part of the card. So I'm just taking a peek. I think he's going to go right there. Take a quick look before I press too hard. Yep, I'm good. There we go. And then this will go over here like so, and I'll get a few more things on there. Okay, and this is how it looks so far. You can add all kinds of things to this. I like to sometimes pop things back here to add more dimension and interaction. You can add a little tag here to write your message on your card. There's a lot you can do. We can still add on to these panels, but incidentally, I just wanted to mention that the name of this paper here is Welcome. Okay, didn't want to forget that. So at this point, I'm going to stop, even though I want to do more to this card, because I want to see how far I can get with the rest of my embellishment pieces before I use too many on the very first card. So we'll move on to the next style. So let's make a gatefold, which is something like this. Looks like two doors coming in, so that's why they call it a gatefold. It is also going to be a 5 by 7, so you have to pre-cut this piece 10 inches by 7, and then when you score it, you will come over here and score 2.5 inches and then 7.5 inches. Or if you're counting back, just count back 2.5 inches this way. So it's 2.5 inches off of each side, and then cut yourself another piece that's 4 by 6, and we're going to put this here eventually, and that kind of keeps your little gatefold closed, but adds like another dimension and panel to the card. I'm going to start with the inside of my little gatefold card, and this piece of paper needs to measure 4 3/4 inches by 6 3/4. I had a little boo-boo down here and I had to patch in some paper, so I'm just going to add one of those little laser cutouts right down there, and you won't even see that anymore. Okay, so the outside, and we may add something here, but let's work on the outside. So the same paper that I just used inside right here is this one on the other side, and that one is called, the Spirit. Okay, so I have cut, remember this is 4 by 6, so I've cut this just a little bit smaller, and you might see right away that doesn't really stand out great on the black all by itself. So I'm going to cut a little bit of white, and I just went ahead and used that same paper, just a little tiny bit bigger, just to put around there. There's a number of things you could do if you didn't want to waste this bit of paper here. You could sand this to expose the white, and that would make it stand out more. But I am just going to do this, or you could just use white cardstock. And I'm going to pop that right on there, and that's going to make that pop out a little bit better, and that's what's going to go on our panel here. All right, and we are going to add some paper to these panels here, and these panels, if you remember, they were 2.5 inches. by the 7, so your papers need to be 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. So we'll pop those on there with that equal amount of space of black all the way around, and then we have this unit that will just get adhered to this left side so that this is floating in the middle, and when you open it, it will look like this. Alright, so if we want to dress up the inside, you can do it like this if you want. Each one of these panels on the left and the right are the same as the ones on the front, so 2 1/4 by the 6 3/4, and then I added another piece of the other side of this paper over here, and this one measures 1 7/8 by 5 3/4. So that looks really pretty on the inside, and we can definitely do more, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll take a moment here shortly, and instead of on screen, I will get these glued down on this side, and then over here I have these beautiful pieces that I want to put here, and this sort of takes kind of detracts the eye from this center black area where those two pieces join, so that's kind of a nice little thing to do there, and it just looks really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then on the front I'm going to go ahead and get this decorated now. We have this great little laser cut piece here. I've got it popped up with foam, and that's going to go right in the middle. Okay, and then I made a little cluster out of this red tag, the Wonderful Life chipboard, and then this beautiful piece back here, and I just put foam tape on the one side where it's going to hang over, and we'll put a little liquid glue on this other part that's going to hit our front door here. So we'll have this kind of coming over here just till I feel it hitting that foam tape. Make sure it's straight. Looks good. Okay, and then let's zoom in a little bit. I've got some buttons here. I think I want to work this little one down here. And again, the buttons come in this little kit, so it's super fun to layer in there. I'm going to kind of tuck it back there. I've got another little bright green one I want to put here. Okay, and then I've got this beautiful laser cut piece with the candy canes. I've got a little bit of black around the edges, and I'm going to put that up here. So some of that needs foam tape, some of it also needs some glue. So I'm going to grab my little foam squares. Just as I'm looking at it, I know where to pop these on the candy canes. Some of these I may have to cut down a little bit smaller. These little foam pieces, which is not hard to do. I just snip them in half right when they're still on the sheet, and then that way I can pick them up and pop them on very easily. So put them up here. Okay, I'm just adding the last few touches to this card. I put this chipboard circle here, Deck the Halls. I've got some chipboard stars here I'm going to add up there. Got my buttons drying, and I added a little bit of that elastic cording there, and that's still drying, but I'll pop it off just for a second so I can show you the inside, how that looked when I glued in those laser cut pieces. Really, really pretty. So I'm going to get a little bit of thicker glue here to give this a chance to really grab, and then I can set this one aside and we can go on to the next style of card. Okay, I think for our next card we're just going to go with your basic folded, single folded 5x7, and as you've noticed, I'm using black as all my bases. I'm going to use this piece for the inside just because there's a lot of nice area in here for writing a Merry Christmas message, and this paper is Exemplified, which has this great plaid kind of green and black pattern on the back. So that's the inside, and then Just because all my cards are using this paper, I'm going to use this again as my background paper. And then I grabbed this beautiful one that has the stripe on the back. This one is called Postmark. So that's going to go there. And then I've got another piece from the other side of Postmark here that has this great, extra border strip that looks like a black lace. So I'm going to actually flip it, I think, and do it this way. I haven't decided for sure. I think I like it better up that way. Even though there's some script in here that's going to be upside down, we have some other things coming that are going to kind of camouflage that. So I'm going to get this on here and then we'll start to embellish. Okay, and so of course the size of this paper is that 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. This one is 4 1/2, I think, by 4 1/2. Yes, 4 1/2 inch square, and that will come up here, which leaves this to be, I'm pretty sure, 2 inches by the 4 1/2, which will butt right to there. Okay, and so I have grabbed a couple of things from the packet, from the kit, and that is this cute Santa. Here comes Santa Claus chipboard circle, this red letter, with a 5-cent mark on there. One of these kind of fern pine needles, pine bough. A couple of buttons and a couple of open stars. And so I'm thinking that I want to put the letter on a little angle there and have the pine coming in maybe this way. We'll see. Here comes Santa Claus, kind of overlapping, and then our actual Santa, will pop him up with some foam tape and then just work in those stars all around. So I think that's good. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so this one came together pretty quickly, pretty easily, and it's super cute. I'm very happy with that. And we'll do one more. Okay, for this last card, it is again a 5 by 7 with a black card base. And for this one, you'll need 2 pieces that one will measure 5 inches by 7 1/2. And then you will score the top at 1/2 inch and fold it back. Then you'll need another piece that measures that 5 inches by, in this case, for my card, 9 1/2. And you're going to score this one at 2 1/2 here to make a cute little pocket. That might be for a gift card or a little treat or candy or something like that. And what's going to happen here is that we are going to adhere this flap to the inside so that it creates a 5 by 7 like tent card tall. I want to adhere these together first because we want to get some other papers on here after to cover up and kind of camouflage this little flap here. So I'm going to bring this down in front of me so I can see it really well and line these up. Hopefully, looks pretty good. Okay, so there's our little 1/2 inch. If it hangs over a little bit, you can trim it. Mine does hang off just a tiny bit, so I'm just gonna trim that off. Looks good. And then before we do anything else, we want to get our paper in here. And I have chosen this one, which is called Vignettes. It has all these great cut apart images on it, which would be great to cut out and use while you're collaging some things. But in this case, I'm just going to use the peppermint stripe side. That's what I'm going to call it. I love the distressed look about it. And I haven't mentioned it at all, but I am inking with just a black ink. This is Black Soot Distress ink. Okay, and I made sure that I had that little zip strip still on the paper, and I have it at the top, even though it's intended to be at the bottom of the paper. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to make a cute little pocket that has a rounded corner here. So I'm just using my 3-way punch to round these little pocket corners. So I'm using like the largest corner rounder for that piece, and then my piece that's going to be glued on top of it, which is the same paper we've been using. that will kind of nest in there like that. And it just makes a little bit of a prettier pocket. And of course, because it is a pocket, we are going to just glue these two sides. And you can come in as far as you think you need to. Like if you're just doing gift cards, you don't have to stay way out to the edge. But I don't know what's going to go in here yet, so I'm just going to keep it out there on that outside edge. Okay, so that's ready. And of course, I would put some sort of label here when the time comes when I'm sending Christmas cards. You could use something like this from the collection, or even the other side, just so you have a place to write. We also have this bright green envelope that we could cut down a little bit smaller for a place to write your Christmas message. So on this last card, I really wanted to work in this Viewmaster element here. So I have sort of a plan going here. I want to work in one of those little clips. So I kind of lay everything out, as you see, to get a plan. And I've got this laser cut left over of the holly, and then this cute little Santa coming into the chimney, or out of the chimney. Looks like he's going in because he's got his bag full of toys back there. And then of course this big chipboard piece. But my background paper for the front of this card is going to be this one. And this comes from this big beautiful page here that has just this green on the back. And I'm pretty sure this strip goes with this one. And this is Christmas Spectacular. That's the name of the collection. Spruce is the name of this paper. Okay, so I have got that cut and ready strategically so that that pretty poinsettia is down in the corner. So that's going to be my background paper. I've got some stars popped out of the laser cuts over there. I've layered some things with foam tape, getting ready for my sentiment on my ticket. And so we'll just get this put together. So this will go right in the middle. And we will put, I do have this scrap piece of the poinsettia I used on a different card, and I think I want it to kind of peek behind, from behind this. So I want to make sure I get that in a good place. And we also have this we want to see, which might come down over this a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this pretty much kind of in the middle of the card. And now it's holding down that piece, but I also want to get under here with a little bit of glue, just so nothing comes up later. Okay, and then we can add this. Now I wanted to put a clip back here, but it doesn't really have to go on the card base as much as just onto this piece. So I'll go ahead and clip that on now. And this is a really tight little fit, but these clips are so cute. I just love them. So I think that's going to go on next up here. Coming down over my Viewmaster. Okay. So we'll kind of put these down together. This has been so much fun making these 4 cards because honestly I've just done this in a couple of hours in an afternoon here, and I love that I can do that. I mean, I've made 4 major Christmas cards in an afternoon, which is a big deal. Got 4 done for the season already. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and I've got my little Santa in the chimney, and it's just the top of the chimney, so it's kind of just floating there. So I'm going to just put this extra piece of holly over that a little bit. And then I've got this ticket I want to put down here, and I did want this to come over top of it just a little, so we'll just peel that up a tiny bit and we'll glue that back down in a moment. But yes, one of these tickets would be great just to kind of layer up the sentiment. Okay, and then I've got the sentiment here, which is believe in the magic, which we will put here in the middle, like that, popped up like that. going to put some buttons here, and I've got some stars here that I need to kind of work in. And as a finishing touch on the inside, of course you can do so much more, but I'm going to just add this extra beautiful holly embellishment from the laser cuts to the front of my pocket. Scooch that over a little bit. Whoops. There we go. Pretty. And I mean, gosh, you could really go crazy. Now that all these cards are done, you could go crazy with like a glitter pen or like some Nuvo drops or something to accentuate some of the berries. You could put some shimmer on some of this stuff. But this is how this card finished out. The glue is still kind of drying on my buttons there. And yeah, you could put twine in the buttons. Not this, it's a little bit thick, but maybe some skinny little pretty twine. But my 4 cards are done. They're all 5x7. They're all just a little bit different, but super fun and super pretty. I hope that you agree. This 49 in Market Christmas Spectacular paper is just phenomenal. And just by using the paper pack and this kit, which we call the cluster kit, I made these 4 cards, and I still have a whole bunch of extra stuff over here, you guys. Lots. I could do many more. I really could. But I'm going to stop with 4 for today. So this is part 2 of the video series of my 49 in Market big haul that I got, which I really, really appreciate and love so much. So I thank you for joining me. I hope you like it. Let me know, please. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.